The wild turkey, America's phenomenal restocking success story. Hello, I'm Tom Paw, Editor-in-Chief of Sports Afield magazine. I'd like to welcome you to one of our new group of videos, the Sports Afield Guide to series. Like our magazine, our videos are interesting, informative, and provide opportunities for a lot of outdoor fun for sportsmen and women like yourselves. Even more important, we feel the information in these videos will help make you more successful on your next outdoor adventure, especially when it comes to hunting that elusive spring gobbler. No question about it, the wild turkey is difficult to hunt. It takes a hunter who understands the ways of this wily bird to be consistently successful. Hunting wild turkeys comprises many elements, and locating gobblers is just the tip of the iceberg. The art of calling the bird into gun range is the challenge of turkey hunting. But there is much more to it than that, so please join us as we discuss the wild turkey's behavior and natural history, and go afield with our pros and editors as they locate, call, and hunt this challenging game bird. Just sit back and try to relax. We're about to go hunting for spring gobblers.
With the beginning of spring, the adrenaline in millions of turkey hunters across America begins to surge. It is time to prepare for hunting the wild turkey. Along with the aromas, sights, and sounds of this time of year comes an increased level of excitement that this hunting event inevitably brings on. In the early 1900s, wild turkeys were not as abundant as they are today. They lived in the solitary regions of the South, including Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, South Carolina, and Florida. Small populations of wild turkeys were also found in scattered areas in the West, Northeast, and in southern New England. During this time, the turkey's seemingly endless population level was at an all-time low. With this fact becoming apparent to sportsmen, a commitment was made to capture wild turkeys in areas where they were abundant and transplant them to areas where wild turkey numbers were low or even non-existent. Because of this concerted effort, a restocking program took hold across America, and its successful outcome has become nothing short of miraculous. Now, thanks to sportsmen and organizations like the Wild Turkey Federation, conservation groups, and corporate America, the wild turkey flourishes in great numbers throughout the entire country. In fact, so much so that many states now offer both a spring and fall turkey hunting season to the sportsman. In many states, turkeys are doing well enough that even hens can be harvested during the fall season. And in some areas, turkeys are so abundant, wildlife agencies allow the taking of 2 hens per hunter. These liberal hunting regulations are clear evidence that the wild turkey has been firmly reestablished throughout our country and is no longer in jeopardy of vanishing from our woodlands, fields, and mountains. The American wild turkey is divided into 4 subspecies. Each subspecies has somewhat different physical as well as behavioral characteristics. The 4 subspecies consist of the eastern, the Merriam, the Osceola, and the Rio Grande. The primary subspecies is customarily referred to as the eastern turkey. This subspecies is the most numerous and widely hunted bird. It is also the largest bodied bird. Male turkeys are called toms and commonly reach weights of 18 to 20 pounds. Female turkeys are called hens and usually weigh in at about 9 to 12 pounds. In some cases, however, northeastern gobblers can get quite large, and there have been reports that some of these birds have attained weights of 28 to 30 pounds. Today's eastern wild turkey lives throughout hardwood and mixed forests from southern Canada through New England, and can even be found in northern Florida. Populations of the eastern wild turkey can also be found in Texas, Minnesota, Iowa, and Missouri. The eastern turkey can be identified from the other three subspecies by its large body size, vibrant bronze-colored body feathers, and chestnut-brown tail feather tips. Its white barred wings also include brown and black feathers. When extended, its wings can reach over 5 feet from tip to tip. Another subspecies is the Osceola, which is often referred to as the Florida turkey because it is native to the Florida Peninsula. The Osceola can also be found in small numbers in Georgia and Louisiana. The Osceola is colored slightly differently than the eastern bird, with its feathers being more iridescent green and red rather than bronze. Another subspecies, which is native to the brushy countryside of the southern Great Plains, including South Texas and Mexico, is called the Rio Grande turkey. It is similar in size to the Osceola, but has longer legs. The bird's feathers are pale and copper-colored. The Merriam's turkey is found in the pine and hardwood forests of the western mountains and plains from Washington to Wyoming. It is comparable in size to the eastern bird, but its feathers are darker and are almost black with a blue, purple, and bronze hue to them. The Merriam does differ slightly from other turkeys in that the tips of their tail feathers and wings are covered with highly visible white markings. These 4 birds comprise the subspecies of the American wild turkey. For spring turkey hunters, the hunt begins by locating flocks of turkeys. Since most turkey hunters only get a limited amount of time to do their preseason scouting, being able to quickly identify turkey sign and potential food sources is critical to successful turkey hunting. The savvy turkey hunter understands that although the wild turkey has a remarkable adaptability to survive with just basic habitat and food requirements, the bird does have fundamental needs, as well as some preferences regarding habitat and food. By quickly identifying good range, scat, and food sources, a turkey hunter can increase his odds for success dramatically. A turkey is a diverse bird and will eat from 50 to 60 different food items. In the spring, however, they prefer insects along with new green sprouts and buds. The tom, like a buck, doesn't concentrate on eating during the mating season. Instead, he spends a majority of his time seeking out hens while living off his fat reserves. Therefore, locating what hens and poults prefer to eat in the spring will usually help you locate gobblers. Although all subspecies of the wild turkey can adapt to a variety of different terrains, there is one consistent habitat which all 4 subspecies prefer to live in: mature or semi-mature woodlands. It is from this type of protective environment that turkeys can locate food, such as acorns, and find safe roosting sites. This type of terrain also prevents predators from sneaking up on the birds. In the hardwoods, turkeys can use their keen eyesight more effectively to detect approaching danger. Hunters should also carefully note the location of corn lots, alfalfa, clover, and timothy fields that border big woods. These are ideal hunting locations which will usually put you in the right spring range to locate flocks of birds. Eastern turkeys prefer rugged mountainous habitat where they get less hunting pressure by living along these inaccessible big mountain ridges. When hunting the Miriam or Rio Grande turkeys, hunters can use natural or man-made water sources to their advantage. In the West, water is not as abundant as it is in the rest of the country and is one of the biggest problems for these turkeys. Water is also the Western bird's greatest need. Once a flock has located a water source, they will visit it with regularity several times a day. Once you have located a constant water source, plan on hunting it regularly, and you will quickly find the birds who come to drink at these holes. All turkeys are naturally drawn to forest openings, meadows, fields, croplands, swamps, clear cuts, and logging roads. It is in places like these where they will find one of their most favorite sources of food, a wide variety of insects. It is also important to recognize that insects are the primary food source for newly hatched poults. This high-protein food staple provides both the young and old birds with the energy they need to maintain weight and to grow rapidly. Now let's discuss how to find gobblers on the roost. Remember that calling techniques vary considerably depending on the caller, bird, and the hunting situation. It is a good idea not to begin making calls before you have good shooting light and can clearly identify between a male and female bird. Not only is this a good safety procedure, but it also prevents one of the more common mistakes made by novice or impatient turkey hunters: having a gobbler quickly respond to your calls and fly down off the roost while shooting light is poor. Remember, safety must always be a hunter's #1 priority when turkey hunting. To get gobblers to reveal their location, hunters have used a variety of techniques. However, the 3 most popular locating calls to quickly and safely find the gobbler you are hunting are the owl hoot, crow call, and hawk screech. Now, let's join renowned turkey expert Paul Butsky.
Right you are, and 2 of the most commonly used and most productive are the crow call and the owl hooter. Let me demonstrate them for you. First, a crow call. Very easy to operate, just blow into the call, and what you want to simulate is the sound of an old crow out there. Crow call can be used at any time during the day, morning or evening, and it'll make a turkey gobble. And now let me demonstrate the owl hooter. The basic rhythm you want to remember for a bowered owl is who cooks for you all. With an owl hooter, or with your natural voice. An owl hoot is very good early in the morning or late in the evening.
The owl hoot is generally used at dusk or dawn. The crow and hawk calls can be used during the same time periods and during the day as well. Gobblers instinctively respond to these calls and unsuspectingly give their roosting or ground locations away to the hunter. The most common and successful locating technique used by turkey hunters to locate gobblers, however, is imitating the hoots of a barred owl. Using the owl call in the evening is the safest way to locate gobblers, especially in areas where you can only turkey hunt in the morning. It also gives a hunter a little more leadway. If you disturb a gobbler on his roost in the evening, there is a greater chance he will not be disturbed enough to change his roosting location. However, If a hunter distresses a gobbler during the pre-dawn morning hours, the gobbler will probably be suspicious, and therefore, he will be hard to work with. Many times, hunters have a difficult time relocating the exact spot where they roosted a gobbler the evening before. One way to prevent this from happening is to mark a trail with light-colored tape from the spot where you located the roosted gobbler to where you will enter the woods in the morning. Once you find the area where the turkeys will spend the night, which is called roosting, prepare to set up to call the gobbler by arriving at the chosen site before daybreak. Keep in mind that it is harder to call gobblers downhill than it is to call them uphill. Turkeys also don't like to cross natural obstacles such as creeks, fences, and other natural barriers when responding to calls. Therefore, your first tactic is to try and set up above the bird, or at least position yourself at the same level of where he is roosted. Position yourself about 100 to 125 yards away from where the bird is roosted, or answering you from. Find a large tree big enough to conceal your entire body, and keep your back to the tree with your face pointed in the direction of where you think the gobbler is coming from. Now, begin your attracting calls, which are all hen vocalizations. Tree calls. These calls include a soft series of mild clucks and yelps and are referred to as tree calls. Do not call too often or loudly. It will make the bird nervous. The volume of the calls should be low enough so that it would be difficult for a man to hear at a distance of 50 yards away.
Now, once you're in position, the first call you're going to make to that gobbler in the roost is a tree call. Very soft series of hen yelps that a hen turkey will make first thing in the morning. Now, once your turkey has answered that, that's probably the last call you're going to make to that gobbler while he's up there in the roost.
Often, you will hear a gobbler quickly respond to this call. If this happens, immediately stop calling and get ready. However, if you don't get a response, wait a few minutes to see if the gobbler is reacting by walking toward you. It is important to be patient. If within several minutes the gobbler has not come any closer, then begin to call again, sparingly. Don't overcall. Fly down cackle. The next call is a fly-down cackle of a hen. This call is meant to duplicate the vocalization of a hen turkey as she flies down off the roost at daybreak. When making this call, some hunters will even slap their legs to imitate the sounds of wings flapping. Once you are sure the birds have flown down off the roost, you can begin making a series of mating calls. These calls include yelps, whines, purrs, clucks, and the excited mating sound a hen makes, which is called cutting.
Then once he's coming on in, I told my calling or even quit calling. But a lot of times that gobbler hangs up out there at 50 or 60 yards, then you give him them little soft, little seductive clucks and purrs, which would sound like this. that's what I would call the bread and butter call to get that gobbler in those last few steps.
Again, once the gobbler responds and starts to approach your location, stop making all calls. You never want a gobbler, or any game you are calling to actually pinpoint your exact location. Rather, you want him to remain curious enough to continue to investigate where you are. When you know the bird is close, but you can't see him, make a few soft hen yelps, clucks, or purrs. This tactic usually works to get the gobbler to walk in the last 10 to 30 yards. You may want to use a diaphragm call under these conditions, as it requires much less movement. Let the gobbler's excitement and curiosity work for you. Remain perfectly still with your shotgun at the ready, letting him walk as close to your location as possible before taking your shot. Let's take a close look at some of the different types of calls you can use. There is a wide variety of commercially made calls, including slate calls, box calls, and mouth or diaphragm calls. Now let's join our expert, Paul Butsky, as he demonstrates each of these calls for us.
Every one of these calls I just did on a diaphragm mouth call, you can achieve on a friction call. The first one, a tree call. A fly-down cackle. Mating yelps. The cutting of a hen. Soft little seductive clucks and purrs. It's just a personal preference whether you like to use a diaphragm mouth call or a friction call.
Here is a list of basic turkey hunting gear. The well-outfitted turkey hunter will need camo clothing, footwear, face net and gloves, turkey calls, a shotgun, ammo, a flashlight, hunting license and permits, a pen, and a small knife. Here is some optional equipment to consider as well. Pocket-sized binoculars, a range-finding device, insect and tick repellent, a first aid snakebite kit, a seat to sit on, a blind, a topo map and compass, camera and film, and where they are legal, turkey decoys. Because of the very nature of turkey hunting, hunters should take every precaution to ensure their safety and the safety of others. Remember, most turkey hunting accidents occur when one hunter mistakes another hunter for a turkey or from firearms accidentally discharging. We, at Sports Afield, recommend carefully following all hunting safety procedures when turkey hunting. When afield, never wear red, white, black, or light blue clothing. These colors are the colors of a spring gobbler. Even if you put camo over clothing that is lightly colored, if only a small portion of the underclothing shows, it could still be dangerous. Call from a location where you are protected from the back. Sit in front of a large tree, boulder, or stump that is wider than your shoulders and higher than your head. Now let's go turkey hunting. we join a father as he calls in a gobbler for his young son. In Alabama, there is no age limit as long as a youngster is hunting with a licensed adult.
Go get it. Congratulations. Good job.
The big bird was the young lad's first gobbler. For Dave Lyons Jr. and his dad, the exciting memories of this hunt will last a lifetime. And that's what hunting is all about.
Turn around that grin at that camera. That's good.
Okay, hold it.
Senior Editor Jay Cassell's safety tip.
It's of the utmost importance to be sure of your target and what's behind your target before you take the shot. It's also a good idea to wear a fluorescent orange vest when you walk into and out of the turkey woods. Take these simple precautions and you'll ensure yourself and others of having a safe and fun hunt. Now here's one of our favorite recipes, Turkey Almond Delight. Good hunting and bon appetit from Sports Afield.
The name of our recipe is Wild Turkey Almond Delight. Prep time, 30 minutes. Cooking time, 10 minutes. Serves 4. Listed on our recipe file card are all the ingredients you'll need to prepare this delicious dish. To prepare Wild Turkey Almond Delight, dredge cutlets in seasoned flour. Dip cutlets into a bowl of blended eggs and milk. Coat in a mixture of breadcrumbs, Parmesan cheese, and chopped almonds. Heat about 1/2 inch of olive oil in a skillet over medium-high heat. Cook on both sides until lightly brown for about 1 minute on each side. Remove to paper towel to drain oil. Can be garnished with parsley or fresh tomatoes and asparagus.